Welcome lads and lasses. If you want to become a master sharpshooter that snipes people down from afar, you are in the right place. This guide will explain all the basics and give you some tips and tricks on how to play this machine gun. Enjoy! Alright guys, so let's start with the base hunter talents at first, where you of course have kill shot by default and a concussive shot for that daze effect, so it can slow everybody from afar. Post haste disengage freezes from all routes basically and increases our movement speed, great for mobility. Kill shot crit damage increased by 75%, we'll be critting a lot, so this is very important. Natural mending, every 12 focus you spend reduces the remaining cooldown of acceleration, so we can have that heal a lot more often. Counter shot interrupt, much needed. Pad trap with entrapment, this is great because when we throw this trap everybody around will be rooted for 4 seconds, which is great to get away from those melees. Survival of the fittest with the nature's endurance, which basically makes it 40% damage reduction for 6 seconds, which is very nice to, for example, you know, just actually stagger some of that incoming damage. Born to be Wild reduces the cooldown of Aspect of the Cheetah, Survival of the Fittest, and Aspect of the Turtle. So basically all of our defensive cooldowns and one of our mobility skills. Tranquilizing Shot is great. Just get rid of some of those, you know, dispel some of the magic effects from the casters. In here we have High Explosive Trap, which basically is a knockback. And we have Intimidation. The thing is, it depends whether we play with the pet or not. If we play with the pet, usually Intimidation is the way to go, but Explosive Trap has its own uses. But if you of course are using Lone Wolf, then the Explosive Trap is the only way to go. Scatter Shot in here, just to, you know, have a better single target CC. If you see yourself many times in, you know, AoE situations, or, you know, fighting many enemies at the same time, Binding Shot is the way to go because it basically stuns all people that get caught in it. So it usually depends. Scatter Shot is, for example, better for casters, which they do not move that much. You know, Binding Shot is great for melees. It also depends whether you take Intimidation or not. Because to, you know, do not DR those stuns, so basically it's all situational. I would say that those two traits are basically all good depending on the situation, what you're playing actually. But usually my default go with the Lone Wolf is Explosive Trap and Scatter Shot. Next we take of course Rejuvenation Wind, which basically also increases our healing, and a Camouflage just to have that stealth and some very nice regen out of combat as well. Binding Shackles is great because basically all of our CC abilities, mostly High Explosive Trap, Scatter Shot, Binding Shot or Intimidation, are basically deal 10% less damage to you after 8 seconds. So, you know, all those DPSs that really want you dead get some damage reduction on them. Pathfinding is nice because, you know, to have that extra movement speed. In Keen, we take Keen Eyesight for extra crit chance. We take, of course, Master Marksman to as well apply some dot with the critical strikes. In here we take Arctic Bowler, which is very nice additional damage from time to time, and additional slow as well. And Explosive Shot because why not? I mean, it deals very big damage and it's AoE, so great to have. And for burst damage we take Death Chakram, only 45-second cooldown. It not only deals quite a lot of damage, but on top of that increases all damage the target takes by 10%, so very nice to have. And with the rest point we just take one straight shot just to increase that poison damage and bleed damage as well. So that basically will round up this tree. Let's go to the Marksmanship, in which we of course start with Aim Shot, then we take Crack Shot just to reduce the cost of Arcane Shot and Chimera Shot. Precise Shot as well. Aim Shot costs you next 1 or 2 Arcane Shots or multi-shots to deal 75% more damage. So basically every time we cast Aim Shot, our Arcane Shot and multi-shot will basically highlight, and then it deals more damage. It's RNG, which basically we get 1 or 2 extra charges. When you don't want to play with a pet, go for Lone Wolf. Of course, if you do play with a pet, I usually just put this point into improved steady shot. Otherwise, I just focus on the burst damage instead, and I don't take it. With the pet, it's very nice because, you know, we have less burst, and sometimes we just need to have more steady damage, and that extra focus generation is nice to have then. Otherwise, just go for the Lone Wolf. In here, of course, takes Rapid Fire, one of our burst skills. Streamline, Rapid Fire damage is increased by 15%, and Rapid Fire also causes your next aim shot to cast 30% faster. Usually, you would like to basically use Rapid Fire after aim shot, you know, just to regenerate some focus, but usually it's just better to fire off our Rapid Fire and then follow it up with aim shot, which has increased cast time thanks to the Streamline. We also take Killer's Accuracy, Kill Shot crit chance increased by 20%, Hunter's Knowledge, Aim Shot and Rapid Fire crit chance increased by 10% as well, Care for Aim Shot deals 50% bonus damage to targets who are above 70% health, so that's why it's very nice when you're starting off to cast Aim Shot first as well, if they are on full health or, you know, above 70% health. Just to have that extra damage, so that's why usually it's better to go for aim shot if you have time, of course. Or whether, for example, when you're starting off your fight from camouflage, then definitely go for the aim shot Rapid Fire, not the other way around. We take Surging Shots. Rapid Fire deals 30% additional damage, and Aim Shot has 50% chance to reset the cooldown of Rapid Fire. Great skill, basically. Death Blow. Aim Shot has a 50% chance, and Rapid Fire has 25% chance to grant a charge of Kill Shot and cause your next Kill Shot to be usable on any target regardless of their current health. So this is basically a switch from the double tap, like this extra burst kill shots, and, you know, Kill Shot hits like a freaking truck, and it basically is allowed to be used during mid-combat, so there's basically no other way around than take it. Target Practice, Arcane Shot and Multi-Shot damage increased by 25%, and Focused Aim damage increased by 10% for our all important skills. Deadeye Kill Shot now has 2 charges and its cooldown is reduced by 3 seconds. Must have. Bursting Shot, very nice because we can knock people away, and this has its uses, for example, to, you know, get rid of the melees or just basically interrupt some cast for casters as well. Serpent Stalker's Trickery is nice because Aim Shot automatically applies Serpent Sting. We don't have to click extra buttons, so it's nice to have. And Tactical Reload, Aim Shot and Rapid Fire cooldown reduced by 10%. A Volley is nice because we basically in this build don't take any cleave damage, so Volley is just to have that extra AoE damage in case we need it, so very nice to have, and we have that extra point to spend, so great. True Shot, our burst cooldown, which basically make our spells to be casted faster and reduces their cooldown so we can use them often, so, you know, all those heavy hitters we can basically almost use back to back. Lock and Load, important because all our attacks have some chance to reset the cooldown and make our next aim shot cost no focus and to be instant, so very nice proc to have. And the last points go into Eagle Talent True Focus, which basically makes our True Shot longer and reduce the focus of all our spells, so we can use them freely while bursting. And the last one, Unerring Vision, which basically makes the True Shot to increase our crit chance and crit damage, so very nice burst buff. In the PvP talents, we take Chimeral Sting, which is very nice silence for caster, and a big potent slow for everybody else if we need that. On top of that, with the last stack of it, Viper Venom basically reduce a lot of incoming damage, incoming healing, and reduce the damage of the target. So very nice to have for. Usually for healers, let's face it. Survival Tactics, must have for, you know, dispelling magic effects and reducing some incoming damage to the Feign Death, which is great. And here we have some choices. Usually when I'm playing Lone Wolf, I take Ranger's Finesse just to have lesser waiting time for our defensive cooldowns, but Sniper Shot is great. True Shot Mastery is nice as well, just to reduce some incoming cooldown. So we do have some choices. I even have some uses for Concussive Concussion. We have some additional stun if we are playing Lone Wolf for that, so we've got plenty of choices, but usual, you know, defense is all we lack, so I usually just take Ranger Finesse just to have that more usage during the BG of our defensive cooldowns. Alright guys, with the talent out of the way, let's get into the gear. Okay guys, as for the gear, we of course are using all the honor gear we can have with as much as versatility as possibly can, and the main stat I usually go for is just the crit chance, because you know we really want those big fat crits coming out of our hand. But the secondary stat I focus on is basically haste, because you know it increases not only the cast time of aim shot, which is our bread and butter, and on top of that also it reduces the global cooldown, so we can get all those shots faster. So it's quite important. Mastery is pretty good honestly, because it not only increases damage of all our shots, but also increases our range. So you know, by default we have 42 yard range with the mastery. We can increase even further, and with Sniper Shot we can get to like over 60 yard range, which is crazy actually. But you know, it just has some flat damage increase, and you know, crits are more important because it basically doubles our damage, and haste, you know, just you get that damage faster, which is usually more deadly than sometimes even than the pure damage. So that's how we do it. Other than that, of course, I like to play with the Crimson Aspirant's Insignia rather than the unused trinket, because you know, our offensive cooldown has basically 2 minutes of it, and you know, you cannot use it on every time you want it. And actually the Insignia has plenty of uptime, so I think that we have more usage of this rather than using the unused trinket. But you know, it's up to you basically. You can wait for it and use it every second time with a True Shot aura, and you know, every 1 minute you have it available as well, just to have that extra damage. But you know, some RNG with nice uptime is also nice to have, so you can choose for yourself, but I like to use this one. Okay boys, as for the rotation and playstyle, we usually just want to, you know, pop True Shot aura and then go ham, but there are some prerequisites for it, if you have time of course. If you are in stealth with basically camouflage, usually don't have it, so I probably would then use without camouflage, you know, for pure burst damage. I would definitely use first Explosive Shot, then drop Death Chakram, pop Coolies, aim shot into rapid fire, pop some stacks, another aim shot, stack, rapid fire, and aim shot, stack, aim shot, rapid fire, kill shot, nice, and the cooldown's done. We did plenty of damage, as you can see, with this, but usually, you know, the principle is to use at least one aim shot and then basically use rapid fire on cooldown. It not only increases your aim shot cast time, decreases actually the cast time, but also rapid fire is the, you know, your heaviest hitting ability, especially with the True Shot. It deals damage faster, so it's very, very nice to have. Usually Death Chakram wants to be used on cooldown because it increases our damage, and like I said, it's a problem. And it's actually 10% seems pretty nice, and you know, usually you just want to use that Explosive Shot, Death Chakram, and then for example rapid fire, then it's very instant, lots of damage, and kill shot follow up. And you know, usually in the steady damage you just want to, you know, cast those aim shot, use your rapid fire of cooldown, and fill out with some arcane shot as well. 100k, nice. Those rapid fires are also important because, you know, like I said before, it's your biggest hitting ability. As you can see, we've got plenty of problems with focus while doing steady damage, but then we can go with the kill shot to get some more back. We got lock and load, then spend some procs, In the meantime, of course, always use your steady shot if you have nothing to use. Lock and load, another stack. It's nice to use those aim shots as many as possible, because aim shot has a chance to actually reset the cooldown of your rapid fire, so it's important to use it as much as possible if you have time to cast. Other than that, usually, you know, instead of standing in place while you are getting shit on by melee, you know, you want to use all your utilities. So you have a knockback with the bursting shot, you have your CC with the scatter shot, you know, and then you can get away a couple of steps and then, you know, aim shot right into the face. You can then, when you know, it comes back to you, you can always put your freezing trap, freeze them, then again another aim shot, you know, get those procs as much as possible, use all your procs, and then, you know, CC into aim shot and, you know, carry on just like that. You got your leap, of course, which can create some distance to, you know, use those procs during getting trained. You got all your instant kill shots along the way, so you got basically very many things to use. Remember that true shot is not on cooldown, so you want to use it as much as possible. Aim shot into another rapid fire, another kill shot into arcane shot, another, and rapid fire. You want to use ideally as many rapid fires as possible. Usually when you use them on cooldown, even after the cooldown ends, you have another use of rapid fire, so you can use like 3 or 4 during the cooldown duration. So it's very nice. As you can see, big damage. It hits like 7 times, and you know, it basically sums up in like around 120 physical damage, so that's quite a lot with just one cast. Like that's channeled, I don't know, 2 seconds, not even 2 seconds. So that's basically it, guys. If you are getting put under some heavy fire by a caster, you know, with dots and stuff like that, always use preemptively survival of the fittest, just to reduce that all incoming damage. In case of healing, you always want to use first the fortitude of the bear, just to get that extra HP, and then use your health stone and acceleration, because you will have more maximum HP, and this will increase the overall healing as well. Acceleration gets off cooldown pretty fast with all the talents we have, and this, of course, fortitude of the bear is only if you're playing lone wolf. If you summon your pet, actually, oh shit, I got a cat. Let's just dismiss him for a second. I want a raptor, actually. Okay, we got a raptor. Raptor is one of the best pets, basically, because first it increases our movement speed by 8%, which is nice. Secondly, we get Master's Calls, which is basically another freedom. Nobody can slow us down then. And of course, when he attacks, he's got Mortal Strike effects, so healing effects are reduced by 25% in PvP. So this is pretty cool, but also the pet have tendency to die in, you know, tight spots with many AoE, you know, flying all around. So you have to always keep in mind to mend him from time to time. And just, you know, remember that you have to keep him alive, otherwise you cannot use all the good stuff he also is providing to you. And I think that the 10% increased damage is usually not worth the utility. But, you know, when you're getting started, you don't really want to micromanage your pet, you know, seeing if he's alive or not. So for starters, I would prefer to you actually guys playing with the lone wolf, and then over the time, if you feel confident alone, you know, you get the hang of the class and what to actually click and stuff like that, then I would probably recommend to going into the pet, because, you know, you get more stuff to actually do. And like I said before, you can then go with intimidation for extra stun, which is always nice to have. Okay guys, I think I covered most of the important things. Usually remember just to use your chimeral sting. First stack actually reduces this movement speed by 90%, which is crazy, for 3 seconds, and then actually silences the caster. So usually when I'm fighting the casters and I'm not in stealth, of course, rather than going straight into the burst, I go with the chimeral sting first, and then I start to cast. Always remember that when you use your true shot aura, it doesn't break camouflage, so you can use it preemptively, especially that it's off cooldown, so it's nice to have, and use it even with the cooldowns on, even with when you are stealth, so it doesn't break it, so you can use it for burst. But like I said, for most damage, burst damage, you want to go for explosive shots and death chakram first before spending your physical damage, and this will actually break the camouflage, so keep in mind that you will actually be seen if you will start the most damaging burst window actually, so keep in mind when planning your fights and picking your fights actually. Okay guys, so thank you for today. If you want to see more Hunter PvP action, check out the video that you see on the screen now. I'll thank you for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.